Good day, my little robins. It's me, Beth. 2022 is quickly coming to an end, and well, a lot of my favourite bands this year have released albums, so here is the obligatory, if you haven't already read the title, my favourite albums of 2022. From right across the globe, from Japan to America, there is like a wide variety this year because, like I said, so many of my favourites have released albums. These videos are pretty self-explanatory. They're going to be pretty biased to my personal preferences, so if you guys want to share your favourite albums, comments is the place to go. Before we begin, if you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's just dive straight into my favourite albums 2022. Erasmus released their 10th album, Rise, with the song Jezebel promoted back in May when they represented Finland in Eurovision. Now, this isn't my favourite song off the album, but good on them for getting to the Eurovision final. There are parts of the album that scream old Rasmus, but they've grown up. However, on other parts it feels like they joined the party late, with some songs sounding like they should have been released a few years earlier. Amelia is a great addition to the band and helps renew the Rasmus. My favourite songs on the album are Live and Never Die and Written in Blood. I also saw them live on Halloween and the new songs sounded a lot better live, which is the case with most of these bands. Super Junior released their 11th album, The Road Keep On Going, and celebrates 17 years as one of the most recognised K-pop boy groups. K-pop groups usually last only 7 years due to contracts, with only a handful of groups renewing. Super Junior bring the fun with this album, with Mango and Don't Wait turning things to 11, with Always being a solid ballad for Else. Super Junior book popular K-pop trends and do their own thing, since most members are mid-30s, so they can't really do what 4th gen boy groups are doing without showing their age. I will say this now, there is a Super Junior song for everyone and I can't wait for the next album they are already teasing. Motionless in White released their 6th album, Scoring the End of the World, and this band have been a staple in my discography since high school. I might have had bad experiences live, but they shine on albums. Apart from loving the album name, it's nice to see bands like clear growth over the years. Would I love another Reincarnate? Yes, but most songs on this album are bops, and they still have enough Motionless in White in them to tide over fans. My favourite song and music video was Werewolf, and well, Masterpiece was also pretty solid. Motionless in White can dance the line between happy emo and sad emo, and I hope they continue this trend in the future releases. Chris is also one of my favourite male vocalists, and he shines on this album, pulling you in with each track. If you want a good time, check out this album and, well, check out Motionless in White. In my past favourite album videos, Architects have been either number 1 or top 3, but the classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit failed to match up to the other releases, but it is still a strong Architects album. Since Tom's death, it felt like Architects were trying to find a new direction, and they nailed it for those that wish to exist back in 2021. That makes this album feel like a part 2, even though Tear Gas music video was a little bit, Don Broco-esque. Songs like Deep Fake show powerful lyrics and growth, even if fans still want Sam to growl more. There is enough bleh on this album, and I can see Architects continuing this balance in future releases. I love metalcore, but bands get older and change. I have come to accept that. Muse is probably my number 1 band of all time due to the large discography and songs for every mood. Will of the People was not as political as Drones, but it still put across Muse's paranoia message. Won't Stand Down, Compliance and Kill or Be Killed go hand in hand, talking about manipulation by someone into doing something you wouldn't normally do, but each sound different, which Muse has done on this album, jumping between styles. Come on, we got a new Halloween bop called You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween. Will of the People songs sound like old Muse songs but reborn in a modern age. This album may not tide over all Muse fans, but it grew on me. Poets of the Fall have never put out a bad album in my eyes, and Ghostlight is another success for a band who need more mainstream love. All the songs sound emotionally driven, and Marco's voice shines, taking you on a new story with each track. The instrumentation showcase a band who have been together a very long time and know what works and, well, what doesn't work. Requiem for a Harlequin is by far the best song on the album, but seeing them live after the album released, Fire Dancer, Chasing Echoes and Sounds of Yesterday hit different. Poets really went above and beyond, and probably had to, since we only had, the powerful Alexander sessions to tide us over since the last album released, Ultraviolet, in 2018. If you want to go on a powerful, emotional journey, then this album and band is, right up your alley. I have a whole playlist dedicated to reacting to Poets of the Fall on the channel, which you can check out after watching this video. The only Japanese band to make it onto my favourite albums of 2022 is BethRobinson, who have eaten up this year, making people pay attention to them. Aegis of Athena is the 4th album, and after seeing the songs perform live, there is no stopping them. Especially Side of a Bullet is like a 9.5-minute opening track that takes some guts but sets up a great track list. Ray of Chaos and Brave New World were great singles in the lead up to the album and showcased strong vocals and instrumentation from a band celebrating 10 years, which is quite the achievement. If you want to dip your feet into Japanese bands, then make sure to add BethRobinson and, well, this album to your list. Up next is Dynasty with the album Final Advent, which saw half of the album actually released as singles before the actual physical release, with Yours and Advent really sticking out. I was in love with the Dark Delights album, and Final Advent is a very strong follow-up. Dynasty have been around since 2007 and have honed their craft sound and style to stand out in the power metal scene, being a band I actually recommend to a lot of friends. Final Advent to me feels like a flex. They haven't grown complacent and do enough to grow but still be familiar. I got into Dynasty when Nils joined Amaranth and haven't looked back. If you want emotion and enjoyment, check out this album and fall in love with Nils' vocals and power metal as a whole. Taking my number 2 spot is K-pop/K-rock/K-metal girl group Dreamcatcher with their second full-length album Apocalypse Savers. If you've seen my Spotify Wrapped, these ladies took my top artist and, well, my top 5 songs of the year, but since only one song off this album, Maison, made my top 5, it made sense to place this album second. If my number 1 hadn't released such a strong album, Dreamcatcher probably would have taken the number 1 spot. This album was a treat start to finish, with the second half dedicated to individual member solo songs, my favourites being Beautiful by Dami and Winter by Handong. Hopefully it means we're getting more solo content in the future. Dreamcatcher are known as dark goth fantasy, but I love the jazz-inspired song Locked Inside a Door. Dreamcatcher brought focus to the environment with the title song Maison, and if they keep pushing boundaries they'll gain more attention. If you want a bit of edge with your K-pop, then Dreamcatcher is for you. Also, this is like telling you to go check out my Spotify Wrapped, which I will leave a link to at the end of this video. And my favourite album of 2022 is Hollywood Undead with Hotel California, which for me is the first album since their debut Swan Songs where I actually liked every single song. I fell out of love after New Empire Volume 1 and Volume 2, but they pulled me back in with this release. My favourite song and video is City of the Dead, but Lion Eyes and World War Me are pretty solid follow-ups. You hear a clear evolution of sound, but they still remain Hollywood Undead. Not so much singing about bitches and sex anymore. The lyrics, singing and rap are on top form, with each member having a moment to shine. I hope to hear these songs live as they are bops. If you like rap rock, check out Hollywood Undead and Hotel California. And, well, that just wraps up my favourite albums of the year 2022 edition. So guys, in the comments below, I'd love to hear, some of your guys, like favourite albums of the year, your favourite songs, your favourite groups, your favourite bands. Let's start a conversation. As I already said in the introduction, this list is very biased towards me. Not everyone's going to have the same opinion, but everybody is entitled to their own opinion here on the channel, so comment and start a conversation. I actually honestly didn't know where I was going with that for a split second. Let's just wrap this up before I continue to ramble. If you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist, depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, I'm Beth. Keep listening to good music. Goodbye.